So now let's look into the Django framework. First, let's understand what exactly is a framework, and then we'll be able to understand what is a Django framework. So a framework is something like which provides frequently used tools as a building blocks. It updates with time to keep up with the new technology, and basically it saves a lot of time. How it saves a lot of time for us, because we don't invest time in searching and updating it for the new current new technology. Like if there is some new way to hack into the passwords, so we will not have to worry about to uh, look for all those new methods of doing it, because we know that when we are using a Django framework or some framework, we know that there is some team, a big team, who is dedicated to work on these stuff and provide us new updates. We cannot totally rely on them, but it's within the new feature they will provide this new method which will be able to protect against such attacks. So this is one example how uh, using a framework helps you, saves a lot of time. And with the building blocks example, uh, in any framework uses some obviously it gives you some building blocks to use and to make the whole website. But if you go on making something from scratch, that takes a lot of time and effort, and at the end it cannot be 100% secure, it cannot be 100% efficient. You might be trying to do it something straightforward, but there are other ways to do it, and they might be more efficient. So in the framework, that hard work and that is already being done by someone else. You just take it and use it to build something. That's why using a framework uh, speed up your production. That's why you can make something big in a very small of time, and it can be secure, and it can be industry level thing. It's not just a hobby project, but it can be an industry level thing too. So you might have uh, seen use of many libraries. How is a library different from a framework? So libraries gives us the tools to help. They also give us tools like a framework, and that give us tools to help our logic work, and then we must deal with the development in the libraries. In the libraries, they have many functions. We can assume them as a tools. Like there's one function maybe to detect a face out of an image. So that is one uh, tool which the library is giving us. But we will have to deal with how to give it the image, how to display uh, the output image, and all of these stuff. We will have to deal with all the outside uh, framework around it. Whereas in the framework, we place our logic in the framework, and the rest is taken care by the framework. Hence, there are more rules to follow. Because we are putting our logic in something else, we'll have to understand how it understands the logic, the way it understands the logic. That's why we learn the framework and we use the libraries. Because libraries are gives more freedom, that's why they are easy to start with. But the framework where there are many rules in the starting, so it takes a time to start with any framework. Like here we'll start with the Django framework, so there will be some rules which we'll have to place in our mind. That's why it's a bit hard to start with any framework. But once you understand the logic behind these rules, and once you have some experience over the use of these framework, then you will be able to quickly make any product. So let's get started with our Django framework. And the next question might be why to use a Django framework? It's because Instagram uses it, Dropbox uses it somewhere, and Spotify uses it. And all of them, these big companies use Django in some part of their backend. So if the big giants are using it, why shouldn't we learn it? And we should also use it. Okay, so uh, to use it, we first need to install it. So how to install the Django? It's very simple. If you have the pip and if you have it, we can install it just like a library we install in our pip. We just need to write pip install Django in our command prompt if you are using Windows. If you are using Ubuntu or any Linux system, you can open your terminal and just use the pip install Django command. It will install the Django. Once you have successfully installed the Django, let's try to create our Hello World demo project, and that will verify our installation too. And that will give us some idea about how to make a project in Django. So I'll open my terminal here and let's keep it in the side. And the first thing once you install the Django is you will get a command called Django admin. So if I type Django admin and then hit enter, it should give us some results after that. So here are some of the methods which we can use. Let's clear it. Now to start a project, it's very simple. We just need to write Django admin, which means the command is Django for Django admin, start a project. So start project is our switch case. So after Django admin, we say start project. Then we can give the name of our website, whatever website we want. So let's say it's our my site and I hit enter. So it does not print anything. It does not do anything as we can see. Let's type ls and we can see there's one folder, my site. This folder is being created by Django. So this is the folder which Django created. So it has one Python file and one my site folder again inside the my site folder. And inside this folder, we have some more Python files. And there's one manage.py file. I'll minimize it. So let's go into this my site folder, cd my site. It has the manage.py file and a my site folder. Here, let's start our we can say we can start one new app. This was the whole site, but we need to start an app, and we can do that using the manage.py file. So all the instructions which we want to give to the Django now will be given through this manage.py file. And to run any Python file, we need to use Python 3, then manage.py file, then we'll say start app. Start app is a command, and then we'll give the name of the app. This was the my site was the name of the website or the project, and then we need to give the application. One project can have multiple applications. So my site is a project, and then we'll need one app. Let's say our app name is Hello World. Then I'll hit enter. Then the first thing which we need to do after we make any Django project is we need to migrate. So earlier we talked about rules which we need to follow. So take it as the rule which we need to follow in the Django is after creating any application like start app, Python 3, manage.py file start app, we need to migrate it. What is migration and what it does, we'll understand it later, but take it as a rule now. Once you make a new app, once you use a start app, then you'll need to use, we need to migrate it. And how to do this migrate? We write Python 3 manage.py file and then migrate and hit enter. It will say, it will print something and it will be mostly okay, okay, okays everywhere. So that will be a good sign to go. Now, once we have created a project and then created an application inside that project, let's create our server. Let's start our project and then we can see some output. So to start our project, we need to write another command inside our manage.py file, which is run server. So the command is run server, which means sort of like start the whole project. I'll hit enter. It says, it tells us about the Django version which we have, and it says starting development server at this website. So I'll copy this link here and I'll open it. So this is the website at this particular URL which we are getting. This is the Hello World website which the Django provides us as a by default application. We did not write any code and still we have got this decent looking beautiful website just using some command line interface. So this is our Hello World application in the Django framework. Let's stop the server for a while and we'll try to restart it, and then it cannot reach that server because we have stopped the server. So once we hit the run server command in the manage.py file, then the server will start and then we can access the website. Otherwise, we cannot. And how do I know what are these commands and how do I know how many different commands there are? So for that, let me just clear it. We can write for it within the Python 3 manage.py file, I can ask for help, and that I can do using two dashes, then help. After it hit enter, you can see there are some text available, which is something like for authentication, there are these two commands. For Django, there are these two commands. And for session, there's this command. So it tells us about the different commands which are available in the Django for us right now. Here's this migrate which we were using after creating an application. This is the startup which we also used. So this is how we create our Hello World application in Django. And our application was looking like this. These are the commands which we followed to generate that application, which is Django admin start project, then the name of the project or the my site which we gave, then the name of the project which we want. And inside that project, we created an app using start app command. Then we gave the name of the app, which in our case was Hello World. So we gave the name of the app. Then by the rule, we migrate it. Whenever we create a new app, we migrate it. And the third thing which we did was use the run server command to actually host the Django application and see the output.